Ever wonder why political debates on social media often feel like a never-ending tug-of-war? Welcome to the intriguing world of political polarization. This is a space where differences in political opinions are not just stark, but often extreme. It's a realm where the middle ground seems to shrink, and the ends of the spectrum grow wider and farther apart. Social media, in many ways, is a catalyst for this polarization. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are not just spaces for sharing cute cat videos or pictures of your lunch. They are powerful tools that can amplify these political divisions. These platforms have the ability to create echo chambers, spaces where the same ideas and beliefs are continuously reinforced, often excluding any differing perspectives. This amplification and reinforcement of our existing beliefs can make the political divide seem even more profound. This phenomenon is not accidental, but a byproduct of how social media platforms operate. So, what exactly are these echo chambers we're talking about? Well, imagine you're in a room where everyone shares the same opinions as you. The conversations are familiar, comfortable, and there's little room for disagreement. That's essentially what an echo chamber is like, but in the digital world of social media. Here, echo chambers are crafted by algorithms. These complex calculations behind the scenes on social media platforms are designed to recognize our preferences. They then show us more of what we like or agree with, creating a feedback loop. This loop can effectively isolate us from views that challenge our own, limiting our exposure to diverse perspectives and ideas. This isn't just about seeing more cat videos because you liked one once. It's about political, social, and cultural ideas. It's about worldviews. In this light, echo chambers can become quite powerful and potentially problematic. In effect, these platforms can create a distorted reality, where our own views are constantly reflected back at us. Let's delve into a real-world example to better understand this. Imagine, if you will, an individual we'll call Alex. Alex is a regular social media user who enjoys staying informed about current events. One day, Alex likes a post from a political group that aligns with his beliefs. The algorithms of the social media platform take note. Soon, Alex starts seeing more posts from this political group. He interacts with them, liking, sharing, and commenting. The algorithm takes this as a sign that Alex enjoys this content, so it gives him more of the same. As days turn into weeks, Alex's feed subtly changes. The content becomes more and more aligned with the political group he first interacted with. Posts from other perspectives become less frequent, barely noticeable amidst the torrent of content that reinforces Alex's beliefs. Alex is now inside what we call a filter bubble. The term filter bubble was coined by internet activist Eli Pariser. It refers to the intellectual isolation that can occur when algorithms selectively guess what information a user would like to see based on information about the user, such as location, past click behavior, and search history. Essentially, these algorithms create a personalized universe of information that caters to our existing beliefs and interests. But it's not just Alex. Millions of social media users are unknowingly living inside their own filter bubbles. These bubbles can reinforce existing beliefs, making them stronger and more resistant to opposing views. They can create a skewed perception of reality, where only one perspective seems valid or true. Remember, the algorithm doesn't have a political agenda. Its only goal is to keep us engaged on the platform for as long as possible. And it does this by showing us content that it thinks we'll like based on our past interactions. As this case study shows, our online interactions can gradually shape the information we're exposed to, reinforcing our political beliefs. So, what's the big deal about these echo chambers and polarization, you might ask? Well, let's dive into the implications of this phenomenon. Echo chambers and political polarization can lead to a cascade of potential issues, the most prominent being the spread of misinformation. When we surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, we are more likely to accept information that aligns with our views, even if it's not entirely accurate. This can lead to the propagation of fake news and baseless conspiracy theories, eroding the very foundation of factual discourse and leading us further away from the truth. But the implications go far beyond misinformation. Polarization also chips away at civil discourse. We've all seen it. The heated debates on social media, the name-calling, the lack of respect for differing opinions. Conversations become battlegrounds, and the aim shifts from understanding to winning. This aggressive environment discourages open dialogue and stunts the growth of balanced perspectives, further entrenching us in our respective ideological camps. The societal consequences of this are profound. Political polarization fuels increased partisanship, creating a society divided by ideological lines. We begin to see the world not as a complex landscape of ideas, but as a binary battlefield of us versus them. This erodes any common ground, making it increasingly difficult for us to come together and address societal issues. This is not just an online phenomenon. It spills out into the real world. It affects how we perceive and interact with each other. It influences our voting patterns, our community involvement, and even our personal relationships. We become less tolerant, less understanding, and less willing to engage with those who hold different views. The digital world is not separate from our real world. It's an extension of it. The polarization we see online is a reflection of our societies, and it's a cycle that feeds into itself. The more polarized we become online, the more polarized we become in real life, and vice versa. This polarization can create a divide that goes beyond the digital world and affects our real-life interactions. It's a big deal, and it's something we need to pay attention to. So, are we doomed to exist in these echo chambers forever? Well, not necessarily. It's true that social media platforms and their algorithms have a hand in shaping our echo chambers, but we, as users, hold the power to break free. The solution lies in our willingness to step out of our comfort zones and actively seek diverse perspectives. Imagine a world where your newsfeed is a vibrant marketplace of ideas, filled with a variety of viewpoints from all corners of the globe. It's not as far-fetched as it might seem. You can start by following and interacting with people who hold different views from your own. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but it's crucial to understand where they're coming from. Another critical step is to question the source and accuracy of our information. In the age of information overload, we must be discerning consumers, scrutinizing the validity of the news and data we consume. We can do this by cross-referencing facts with multiple reliable sources, and by being aware of the difference between opinion and fact-based reporting. But seeking out diverse perspectives and questioning the information isn't enough. We need to engage in respectful dialogue with those who hold different views. It's easy to dismiss someone's opinion when it doesn't align with ours, but it's more challenging and ultimately more rewarding to listen, understand, and engage in civil discourse. Remember, respectful dialogue doesn't mean you have to change your views. It simply means acknowledging that there's more than one way to see the world. And who knows? You might find that these conversations broaden your understanding and challenge your preconceived notions. Breaking free from the echo chamber isn't a one-time event, but rather a continuous process of learning, questioning, and engaging. It's a journey that requires patience, open-mindedness, and a genuine desire to understand. It's up to us to challenge the echo chamber effect and foster a more balanced and informed discourse. Let's take that step towards a more inclusive, tolerant, and empathetic society. Let's break free. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. We began our journey today by delving into the intriguing world of polarization. This phenomenon, often seen as the division of society into two opposing factions, has found a fertile breeding ground in social media platforms. The complex algorithms that drive our feeds have inadvertently created echo chambers, a term that we've come to understand as a space where like-minded individuals converge and where differing viewpoints are noticeably absent. We discussed how these echo chambers are further reinforced by the filter bubble, a term coined by internet activist Eli Pariser. This bubble, a personalized universe of information curated by algorithms based on our preferences, has the unintended consequence of limiting our exposure to diverse perspectives. It's like living in a digital world that's been custom-tailored to suit our beliefs, making it difficult for us to encounter and engage with contrasting views. We then explored the impact of this polarization, which is far from trivial. It can lead to a greater divide in society, foster misinformation, and ultimately undermine the democratic process. It's like a ripple effect, starting from our individual screens and touching the very fabric of our societies. But the news is not all grim. We've also discovered that there are ways to break free from this echo chamber. By consciously seeking out diverse sources of information, engaging in respectful discourse with people of differing viewpoints, and questioning our own biases, we can start to dismantle the walls of our echo chambers. In this era of digital connectivity, where information is at our fingertips, it's crucial that we make an active effort to broaden our horizons and challenge our preconceived notions. Remember, it's not about winning an argument, but understanding each other better. The power to change the discourse is in our hands.